I think we're live. No sign of the Cave Crusader.
Where
No
is he?
sign. Oh man.
No sign of him anywhere.
Yeah, we might need to throw out the Cade. Yeah, we might need to throw out the Cade Con or whatever. What are we gonna call his signal? I have no freaking
Oh, we
clue,
got
I
man.
don't
we
even
gotta
know.
put our heads together
I
on
don't
that
even
one.
know, man. I have no idea. But I heard he will be making an appearance on Woodward Best tomorrow.
Oh no, for sure.
Whoa.
I heard that. I
Oh, he'll
heard
be
that.
there.
And yo, we got the draft show, NBA draft show, Woodward Pistons. Presented by Woodward Sports. Hey, we're gonna be on the stage rocking out with the homies Jeff, I, Freddie, and you see him, guys. Look at him, Mr. Sean Murphy. But
Hey,
What to do, baby?
but we're gonna be able to feature our cast a little bit more. Downtown Deuce is gonna be in studio. Gonna be in the conversation a lot more this time. Yo, I'm ready, man. I am ready. I am ready. I am ready.
man,
Hey, but
it's
we got a
time.
lot to talk about tonight. Hey, Deuce, Sean, how you guys feeling first and foremost, man?
Man, I'm doing good. First of all, we got the draft coming up, so that in itself is awesome. But we got some trades to talk about as well. It's we've been talking about for a long time about how we were just ready for it to be Troy Weaver season. And ladies and gentlemen, the first casualty of Troy Weaver season is upon us. We are officially in Weaver season, baby.
Yep,
Yeah, I'm looking at these comments, man. Deuce, brother, what's going on, sir?
bro, I'm ready to get it going, man. I'm looking forward to this draft tomorrow, especially off of the hinge of what just happened today with this Jeremy Grant trade. We're going to talk about
Yes,
how that's going to change the dynamic, if at all, of what happens tomorrow with how we're looking at it. So I'm looking
yeah,
forward to
Absolutely,
talking
man.
about it.
yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
but
hey. And I definitely want to bring everybody's attention. Listen, Table Talks Thursday. On Tuesdays in the future, you guys are gonna see something a little bit new, something a little bit different from Downtown Deuce and myself. And we're just gonna be touching on different NBA topics, different Pistons topics. My bad, different
Yes,
Pistons
sir.
topics, and trying to cover it from a little bit different angle. I just wanted to be able to bring that to you guys. Deuce, anything you wanted to say about it?
Yeah, so for those that don't know, me and Kool-Aid go back 20 plus years. We've known
Oh,
each other for a long time. We've been debating, going at each other's heads about Piston talk for years. So you guys are probably going to see a little bit different side of me, as far as just how we talk about these things. But I'm really looking forward to just coming off the cuff with Kool-Aid and just getting into it. So hope you guys enjoy it.
absolutely, man. I'm excited to tune in, and I'm excited to hopefully be a guest one day, man.
Absolutely, we gotta have you on there, man.
Sean,
Come on now.
do y'all hear this dude? Stop,
He's so humble.
Sean,
Trying
bro.
to so humble
Family,
with it.
that. This is so we can make sure that Deuce gets his flowers too, bro. But hey, I see the comments. I see the comments. I see the comments, bro. I think they're ready for it, bro. I think they're
And
ready
so
for it. And it's all over the place. I think they're ready for it. Y'all see, I got some in my hands.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell you guys
uh-oh.
about this in a little bit. I'm gonna tell you guys about this, man.
Uh-oh. We saving it? Or we going into it? Let's see. Wow.
All right,
It's
look at
been
the
a
Jeremy Grant Classic.
long day
I knew
without
something was
you,
gonna
my
happen.
friend, and I'll tell you all about it when I see you again. That's what's happening here.
Long way. Yep, let's get it.
From where we begin.
But I'll tell
About
you
it when I see you
Thank
again.
you, Jeremy Grant,
Exactly.
for everything. Thank you.
Yes. Yes.
And
Oh
I
man.
did get
Yeah.
this sign. I
Yeah.
did. I had a feeling he was gonna be on the way out. So at the Jeremy Grant Classic, man, it was really, really cool the way he interacted with everybody. You could kind of feel it was more of like a probably going away, but you know what
Yeah.
it is. You know what it is. Hey,
Facts.
Sean. Sean, you got the people going, bro.
Hey, don't forget, we could do it that way. Oh, we can bring the baby.
Hey,
So I was
hey,
waiting for the
I like
Shania to
it,
come out.
bro. I do.
That's fine.
So here's what I will say. I think before we get into the implications of it, I do think we got to pause and thank Jeremy Grant just for a quick second because listen, man, say what you will about Jeremy, but this guy decided to come to Detroit literally in the midst of our rock bottom as a franchise.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
he chose to come to Detroit.
Yep.
And so it's one of those things. It's one of those things where, you know, like I'm sorry, I got cut off by Chuck. He said that he gave me 2 compliments in the From Half Court stream, and now I'm off his good list.
Oh
Dang it,
man,
Chuck. I'm sorry. Man, it's
I
bad.
didn't know you were ever on the good list.
Listen, Chuck. There were so many people in there. There were too many comments to keep track of, man. It's just, I'm sorry, Chuck, but listen, man. In all seriousness, like Jerami, like all the performances he's put on, all the hard play that he gave us for 2 years. I mean, this guy, like truly, he embodied Detroit. He really embraced the city, and he wanted to make it a better place ever since he got here.
Where's he at?
Yeah, he did a lot of work.
Sean, hold on. Not that Sean. We're gonna get another Sean. He's in the comments. We got you, bro. I'm gonna get you. Get you. If y'all don't know Sean Court, yo, everything Detroit Bad Boys. If you don't know, follow them. They're big supporters of Woodward Sports.
Yep.
Hey, Sean, bro, you better be there with us again tomorrow night, bro. Be there with us.
Come through.
I did want to just quell some of these things that are out there, man. You see all these people talking about how selfish Jerami Grant is. He wants to be the #1 option, blah, 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 blah. Listen, man, his camp, Troy Weaver, Coach Casey, those guys, they squashed all of that. They said, look, he's a team player. They said he's somebody who if it's in the cards for him to be here, he'll be here. He'll play his role. He'll do whatever the team needs. And if it's better for the team to kind of trade him, he's going to support that too, as long as, you know, obviously they're working with him to get him to a spot that he wanted to be at. Portland was a spot that was a destination that really worked for everybody involved to some degrees. Now, I wish we would have got a little bit more, but if Troy Weaver made this deal, you got to believe that there's more on the way.
Right, yeah, of course.
Tell people to just chill for a second is because when they signed Jerami Grant, everybody cried. When they traded, for what Stewart, people cried over Bruce Brown and Luke Kennard, bro.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, all of these moves actually started to pan out, and people started saying, wait. Maybe Troy Weaver knows what he's doing, and it's what had everybody up until this point saying, trust Troy Weaver, trust Troy Weaver, trust Troy Weaver.
Yep.
You know, I don't know if you guys saw the latest. I think it was Bill Simmons who said that he believes this move directly means the Pistons are throwing that max bag at DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah, Woj came out and said, and James Edwards III as well has also came out and said the Pistons are more than likely going to be in that mix. But also, in addition, can we remind people where the Pistons were at the day we signed Jerami Grant? Can we remind the people that our best young prospects when we acquired Jerami Grant were Svi Mikhailuk, Luke Kennard, and maybe Sekou Doumbouya. Like that's where we were at. And then Bruce Brown. That's about it. That was our list, right? Now we have Cade Cunningham, Sadiq Bey, Killian Hayes, Isaiah Stewart, Hamidou Diallo. Like we have like a litany of guys that we at the very least have some form of faith in, right? So and that talent, not only are we way more talented than when Troy Weaver came into town, we're also way cheaper.
Exactly, and that's what we're going to get into tonight. 100%.
So, listen, man, we have up to $56 million at our disposal.
You know what's even crazier is that if they just brought back everybody that they have to make a decision on, they still have $43 million, bro. And I'm going to address this one on the screen. Troy Weaver's move, picking Killian at 7. He doesn't walk on water, 23 wins.
You got to think long term, man. You got to think long term. He's been there 2 years. I think, and that's why he's the GM and we're not. That's why. He mentions it all the time. Restoration. It doesn't happen overnight. Things that sustain take time.
We got Hey, Sean, I brought you on just in time to address this. That's on the screen, brother. Troy Weaver's moves. He says that all he's really done is pick Killian at 7. He doesn't walk on water. He only has 23 wins. putting you on the spot right now, Mr. Sean Corp, and go.
Wait, what's the question? How many wins? Wins matter all of a sudden?
Wait, we care about those now? I forgot about that.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that one, dog. I don't know. I remember when they drafted Killian, they said exactly, you know what? Chuck, he's always on point, man. He's always on point.
Chuck, shout out to Chuck.
They said when they drafted Killian, he was a project player. They said that they knew that there was going to be some transition. He's a guy that has to learn not just NBA basketball, but how American players play the game. And they keep echoing that sentiment. Mm-hmm. I see the flashes of what Troy Weaver saw in Killian Hayes. I really did. I really do. And I believe that everybody else did. We can go back and we kind of cherry pick these games. This is the year that I think if we're going to trash Troy Weaver to any degree on Killian Hayes, you got to wait to see what he gives you this year. Mm-hmm. You just have to wait, man. Just being honest. And honestly, if this is all you think Troy Weaver has done, my man, like the other players that he picked in that same draft. But, I guess we'll let Sean Corp, if he wants to try his hand at that. You can answer that too, since you're last in.
Oh, about Killian Hayes?
Yeah.
I mean, I think the best thing for Killian Hayes would be if the Pistons got good enough that they don't have to rely on his offense, because I still don't think his offense is going to come this next season. If he can be the defensive facilitating guy that he's already pretty naturally, comfortably able to be, then it buys him another year of development. But I think that the odds of him building a capable offense, I mean, time's running out. They're going to have to make a decision on him pretty soon. So we'll see what happens. But somebody's got to score the ball. So it all depends on who they add, with Jerami Grant gone.
Yeah, and I was going to ask more specifically, to everybody else on the panel as well. What do you feel about, so we can get this thing more trade-centric, Troy Weaver after this Jerami Grant trade? We all expected him to be moved, but the way that this deal came down, does it speak to you a little bit more? And what are you guys thinking about Troy after this? Is he still walking on water, or is it a little shaky now?
Well, he's not perfect. Nobody's perfect, but I think there's so much disappointment because the bar of expectation that was set was that the Pistons will be trading him potentially for this year's number 7 pick. Mm-hmm. That's all we kept hearing. 7 pick. So if that expectation wasn't met, I don't think as many people would have been as upset about this actual trade now. But here's something that I thought about that I don't think many people are really talking about. I think the Pistons sent him specifically to Portland because Portland had that trade exception via the CJ McCollum trade during the season that fit Jerami's salary perfectly. Mm-hmm. And that's important because that's what enabled the Pistons to not have to take back any salary, any bad contracts, which put us way under the salary cap. So now we've got about $65 million projected in payroll, and our cap projection is $56 million. So we have nearly as much cap room as we do tied up in contracts, which is more than double what any other team has. Other teams, you look at what Orlando's got, 28, I think?
26, 27, somewhere around there.
The Pacers are 26.
Yeah.
The Spurs are 20. And we have north of 50. Now, granted, we got to pay guys, Bagley, et cetera, but we're still looking at 40 plus after that.
Well, we also have even more cap space coming off the books next year too. That's the thing about where we're at right now. Obviously, you're going to have to pay guys in the next couple of years because young players are going to be ready to get paid. But the other thing too, I mean, this also allows Detroit to open up salary space for making trades and adding on salary in the future too. This allows Detroit, if they wanted to, they could go spend a crap ton of money on the best free agents available in this offseason to try and make themselves better right now. And if they wanted to, they could try to tank this season too by taking on bad contracts and salary fillers and get more assets in the future. The beauty of what this allows Detroit to do is to make more than one decision and have more than one choice, because this actually gives you that financial freedom to put you in multiple different positions that you can be in, really, to choose where you go this season. So it's one of those things where, is this the value that I wanted in return? I mean, probably not. But at the same time, I think it's because I think we sometimes overvalue our players, and I understand a lot of us are like, oh, well, there had to have been a better deal than that, or there could have been a better deal than that. James Edwards highlights it himself in his article. This was the best deal the Pistons got. There was not a deal at the deadline that was of higher value than this one. Yeah. So to anyone that's saying we could have gotten more, I don't know if you could have, because we're seeing that's not true.
Yep.
Well, I think every deal that's done is the only deal that was offered. Nobody acts like a deal was actually on the table that doesn't go through. It was just all speculation. It was all BS. Mm-hmm. So I think it's highly likely the Pistons could have got more if they traded him last year, because Jerami would be on a reasonable contract. He wouldn't be staring down a $114 million extension yet. Sure. That being said, I think, if you compare this to the Denver trade that a lot of people talk about with Aaron Gordon, they got 2 picks and a bad contract. So the Pistons got 1 pick, probably equivalent to RJ Hampton, who was that 24th that Orlando got. And then instead of taking on a bad contract, they said, we want the money, and we're willing to give up that extra first-round pick that we were expecting in order to get that money. Now, that's all well and good if they use the money wisely. They could just as easily, blow it on something stupid. But I think if you're saying, they got Gary Harris, who was making like $16 million. So instead of taking on $16 million, they didn't get an extra low first-round pick. I mean, it's not great value. It's not horrible. It gives them tons of flexibility. Like, if they turn around tomorrow during the draft and they get a pick from Charlotte because they absorbed Gordon Hayward into their cap space, like, is Gordon Hayward worse than Jerami Grant? Probably not. What's that?
I said I love Sean's in general. You're saying a scenario that I was actually going to bring up. I love it.
Oh, let's get into it.
Us Sean's what we're talking about, man. Especially in the Pistons community. I'd say as far as not to gas us up, Sean, but I would argue there is no more knowledgeable first name to bear in the Pistons community than the name Sean.
Well, it's certainly the most prevalent.
Yeah, that's a good response. I'll let you have that one. And Sean J in the comments, of course, he's going to agree with that one. Yeah. Shout out to Sean.
Only if it's spelled SEAN though. I'm sorry, Sean.
There's only one true way.
Yeah, there really is.
Man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I have a question.
Another one is interesting. I thought about that, man, with the extra.
Yeah. So let's say that the Pistons strike out because all their big targets are restricted free agents. Who knows if it works? Who knows if it doesn't? If they trade for bad salaries, like, what are the options out there? Because it seems like everybody's desperate to get rid of some bad salary.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I just saw Chuck say at least.
Shout out Easy in the chat too. Shout out Easy. Sign Corey Joel to the max.
I think King got hacked
tonight, y'all. King, where you at, brother?
Yeah, I think King got hacked.
After this stream,
something's wrong, man.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. That couldn't have been him. I don't know.
Oh God, somebody hijacked this stream, bro.
So how you guys feeling about the draft? What are the implications of today's trade with regard to the draft tomorrow? Anything? Any smoke there?
Well, it's so funny when people try to judge Troy on like trade or deal by deal basis. Remember how much even people went up in hands when he waived or stretched Jalen Hands. You know what I mean? It's just like, I think we have to just kind of wait and see what the product's going to be when we get to that time. Rod Beard has been saying it all along. You got to kind of wait until after the draft. You got to wait until you see what they do with Jerami Grant. And this is just part one of it. This is not the end of it. You can't judge this just based off of this move. They're going to use that cap space. They're going to make some trades. We don't know what the frick Troy is going to do tomorrow. Like we all know this. That's why I always caution people. If we come away with 3 first-round picks tomorrow, would you be surprised?
Not in the least.
I wouldn't be surprised at all. I wouldn't be surprised. I'd be like, whoa, Troy.
So
but I really would not be surprised. With Troy, it's always, wait to see what he's doing. With something like this, whether it's the best deal or not, that was available for Jerami Grant to do it before the draft, to lock Corey Joseph in before the draft, this stuff means something. I see Sean over there itching to say a few words.
Per Woj just said on ESPN that the Suns are very motivated to find a sign and trade partner for DeAndre Ayton.
Wow.
So
That's
I
complicated
do,
though, because
it is complicated. I just feel the need to bring that up just because I just see also I'm not sure if you guys saw earlier on the timeline tonight either, but that number 7 pick that we wanted in return for Jerami, it looks like they might be going to OG Anunoby. It is not because I had to pee, but now the next time I do have to pee, I definitely am interrupting the stream to let you all know. Anyway, go ahead, Kool-Aid.
But this is not the end all be all. It's not. We know what Troy's track record is. You just got to kind of let these things play themselves out. Now, what do I believe it means for the draft tomorrow? Well, this is totally different now. We believe that if Jerami Grant was going to be traded, it was going to be for a draft pick we were going to use this year. Now, that draft pick next year, what's interesting about that one is tradable. They're 5 this year. I believe they have to draft a player first before they can trade that pick. So obviously, I think Rod said that there will have to be a post-trade if they were going to do anything with that pick. But I know next year's first is tradable, and when you get down to 5, there are some options that you do have with that, especially with the money that they have. If they do get their hands on Charlotte's first-round pick, I don't know.
New York wants Jalen Brunson.
Yeah,
that is true.
It's been reported as well that New York, at least they did call on number 5. So obviously Detroit would have to make the pick, and then there could be.
Well, they want Ivy then, but if they want to sign Jalen Brunson, they'd have to give up number 11. So would you take back Kemba Walker and Nerlens Noel? Or
I think I passed
Kemba Walker and that wing player whose name is escaping me.
I agree with Chuck, though. The Suns are going to need Corey Joseph and Kelly Olynyk in this side and trade. It's going to be imperative.
Well, Corey Joseph didn't have to opt into his deal.
That is true.
And he did it hypothetically, speculatively, because a $5 million deal is very easy to trade, especially if you're a veteran on the last year of his deal who can make 40% of his threes and would be attractive to playoff teams. So I'm pretty confident the Pistons are going to swing some sort of trade. I'm pretty confident Corey Joseph is probably going to be in that deal.
Yeah. Absolutely, man. He's someone that it just makes too much sense. He's someone that when you bring up that when you bring up the tradable contracts, but in addition to just what kind of value they bring, and with Detroit wanting to go a different direction with liking Colin Sexton as well, or even if what they could do at 5. I mean, Corey Joseph just doesn't have much of a role in this team going forward. I still believe Troy Weaver, though, like when he talks about how, like, because he said before draft that whatever we do in the draft doesn't affect the off season, and I still kind of think that's true. Like, I don't think just because we trade Jerami Grant that like we have to go get a Keegan Murray now. I think you still draft the best available player, and you worry about like what that fit looks like later. But it certainly makes the Keegan Murray selection make a lot more sense, does it not? I mean, inherently, he's filling a need day one. He is. I mean, I would still prefer Benedict Mathurin over Keegan Murray myself, but that's just me.
I mean,
I think if Troy thought Benedict Mathurin was better than Keegan Murray, he'd still draft Benedict Mathurin. Now, maybe he likes Keegan Murray more anyway, and he will select him, but I don't think the absence or presence of Jerami Grant changes what he was going to do with that pick, because that pick wasn't going to start.
Yep.
And it's not like it wasn't going to get minutes no matter which position they played. They were going to find minutes for him regardless. So,
yeah, and I don't think there's that much of a gap between those guys in terms of ability and talent anyway. I think they'd be happy with whoever was there at that time.
Yeah. Obviously, I can see Keegan Murray being a logical pick, but if he's not the most talented on their board, I don't see them picking him. This team is still in a position, especially after losing Jerami Grant, where if they needed talent before that, they still need talent after that. So if Benedict Mathurin is their choice, or if they get an option to get somebody like, if I don't know, by some chance Ivy falls, I believe that they're still going to go after one of those kind of more highly explosive, athletic guys who can also put the ball in the in the rim shooting wise from the 3.
I've been doing a lot of reading and have been looking into what, into like Sacramento and like what the words have been out of their camp and everything. And obviously we all know Jaden Ivey still hasn't worked out. Jaden Ivey still hasn't worked out with the Kings or talked to the Kings at all. I know that hasn't stopped the Kings in the past. They literally just drafted Davion Mitchell last year after not doing anything with him beforehand. So they'll go draft a guy even if they haven't talked to him. But in addition, with the rumors that Keegan Murray's gone out to dinner with Sabonis and Fox, with the rumors that Mike Brown is really high on Keegan Murray, like all the chatter has been around Keegan Murray and the Kings. So
yeah,
like it's one of those things. It's just, to me, there's been too much smoke there to say, when there's smoke, there's fire. So I'm not saying that means they're drafting him tomorrow night.
He did or he didn't talk to them.
Keegan Murray, he went to dinner with Sabonis and Fox, so he has talked to them. So they very much like Keegan Murray. So so from everything I've heard, the logic would tell you that would be their guy. But again, it's the Kings, so you can really never rule anything out.
And it really wouldn't make any sense with having Mitchell and Fox there to go and grab a guy like Ivy. But like you said, the Kings are going to king. So, but to me, the natural pick for them is Keegan Murray. I think he's a great fit next to Sabonis. I think he's a guy you can plug right in, and he fit right into that system well for them. So to me, that makes the most sense.
Yeah, to me, that would make the most sense. Yeah. But I'm not.
To all of us, other than the Kings, that would make the most sense.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, what are we doing? Shine, he did ask a question at 5 with this Jerami Grant trade, with the money on there. What are you guys expecting? What are you doing at 5 tomorrow?
What I'm expecting or what I want?
A little bit of both.
Right. What I want Jaden Ivey to be who we select. And if Jaden Ivey's out the board, I wouldn't mind the home run move to go get Sharp either. However, in my personal opinion, I think if we're to believe all the reporting we've seen so far, and if the draft orders to go as expected, I think there's a really high chance we see Keegan Murray as a Detroit Piston after tomorrow night. And it's not a bad thing. I'm making it sound like it's a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's just personally, I think there's better players on the board. That's just
know what you sound like, Sean?
What's that?
Not you, Sean. It's Sean. And actually, I think all of us sound like this. You sound like a spoiled K Cunningham fan.
I am. You're damn right. You're damn
It
right.
doesn't take long.
How dare you?
That's all. I mean, because that's what it is. We want what we want now. It's like, yo, we got Cade, and now we're like, give us the whole world, dog, on it. And why not, man? Why can't we? We see some of these other teams do it. I was talking about this with Jeff earlier when the Cavs got number 1 and then number 4. Imagine if that was up. What if that was us this year?
Yeah,
exactly.
We wouldn't be sitting here talking about, Keegan Murray, benefit. We'd be sitting here seriously talking about Ivy with a serious chance to move up if we really believe that one of those guys ahead were, worth it. But now we see here at 5. When I see Troy Weaver make a move like this, man, I get excited. If Ivy is there, I hope he's the pick. If not, in recent weeks, man, it's so crazy. I've been so high strung on Keegan Murray and his scoring ability. But Benedict Mathurin, man, has just kind of crept up the draft charts for me.
He's rising up. He's rising up the boards quickly too. NBA circles, a lot of people like Benedict Mathurin.
He's a really good player. I mean, I think he really fit well next to Cade Cunningham. The things that he can bring to the table. He's not a great ball handler, but he's a guy he moves well without the ball. He can space the floor. He's a great cutter. That's something that works really well for Cade Cunningham because he can find guys. So I think that would be a very good natural fit next to Cade Cunningham.
He's a good catch and shooter as well.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys. I remember when we covered Benedict Mathurin, we talked about it on the show that if there was a prospect who could fall into the trap that most of Pistons Twitter thinks that our rookies do, or young players are just stand in the corner and shoot, that Benedict Mathurin is that player who would be able to most succeed in something like that with the range that we're picking at. Just the way that, he doesn't rely on his athleticism to set up necessarily the rest of his game, though it is a supplement or it adds to what he can bring. If he wants to shoot, if he wants to do a little bit of the playmaking, if he wants to, one thing that I really, really, really liked about him that I just kind of got into this week, Benedict Mathurin was dope in clutch time.
Yep.
He was really, really, really dope in crunch time, man. Really dope. These are the things that as I kind of got into it, I was like, you know what, man? The Pac-12 Player of the Year is looking kind of really like a really, really good prospect who might be underrated depending on how you're looking at this thing.
Yeah. Sean, what do you think, bro?
I think if you're talking about who's the best player to help Cade, it's probably Mathurin. If you're talking about who's best helped by playing alongside Cade, it's probably Jaden Ivey, because all the things Jaden Ivey can't do, Cade helps him out with. Now, I'm really worried about putting somebody that can't defend at a high level next to Cade long term, because I don't want that kind of pressure on him. That scares me about Ivy, among other things. So I really like Mathurin as a guy who looks like he can defend, who has sneaky athleticism that's almost that Shaden Sharp level, but everybody seems obsessed with Shaden Sharp for some reason. And he's got this 3-point shot. Not only can he catch and shoot, if you watch the film of his shots, he takes crazy NBA movement threes off like dribble handoffs and off screens, and he just makes these very difficult high level threes with this, this high release point that reminds me of just when Rasheed Wallace would shoot threes, nobody could block him. Now he's not Rasheed Wallace, obviously he's a guard, but just that natural high arcing three that looks like it could be successful in the NBA. So, I mean, I think he's kind of like a plug and play and let him develop, and hopefully he learns how to dribble not off his foot, because that would be really helpful.
Yeah, that's the only thing that really worries me right now is just his ball handling ability, but I think that's something that he can grow into.
Yeah. And that's the cool thing is that with Cade Cunningham, there's not a lot of ball handling he's going to do when he's on the court with him or even with Killian. Not ball handling, playmaking, where his ball handling is going to have to be superb. Obviously, he has enough ball handling too if he catches on a wing, pump fake, drive, and dunk on somebody. But there were some interesting things we talked about in the pod with Rod Beard earlier. You're going to want him, like you said, dudes, to be able to develop that ball handling skill. We don't want these guys, if you're super athletic, to only be able to catch lobs. You don't want to be, and we've seen some of those guys throughout the years. They're great to play with on 2K, but they can't create anything for themselves. You know what I mean? They're just standing in the corner, shoot a three every now and then, or every now and then they're catching a lob and dunking on somebody. And realistically, what set someone like a J.R. Smith apart from some of these just high flyers is the fact that he could create for himself too. It wasn't just his athleticism, it wasn't just a shot, but he had that ball handling. And I think that Ben Mathurin, if he can develop that, where he can be consistently reliable, something where if Cade Cunningham is pressured or if Killian is just not into it, this is another guy who can go out there and just absolutely dominate the floor and dominate the ball from an offensive standpoint.
That's a great point. I think that's the difference between him and Ivy is that we know Ivy, at least in college, too, is very ball dominant. You want that happy medium with that guard next to Cade, somebody who doesn't need the ball, who can be set up, but also somebody who, when you need him to, can take pressure off of Cade Cunningham. Having that balance is going to be very important. You don't want Cade having all that pressure all the time with the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
But if you want that player that's sort of my turn, your turn with Cade, who really takes the pressure off of him, then you probably want Keegan Murray, because he's the guy that can create his own offense, even if he can't facilitate for others. So, I mean, I think it's a 3-person race for that 5th pick.
Yeah.
I think there's pluses and minuses in a major way, but the Pistons shouldn't be looking at this like they're going to get a star player in this draft. Yeah. They're looking for the best long-term complement to Cade. And then obviously they've decided that the best way to get a second star is to open up $55 million in cap and just see what happens.
Yeah.
Jeez, man.
So we know Aiden is the
Weaver season.
Is the hot guy right now. Who are you guys looking at as far as potential free agent signings? Or are you even thinking Troy's going all in now, or is you thinking he may facilitate trades and maybe sign guys to 1-year deals and then make a move down the line, considering where we are in our timeline? What do you guys think?
Yeah,
I think that I hope that he has Ayton on the top of his list, and then the list is very short, because when I think of what Stan Van Gundy did, he would do something smart, like go after Al Horford, and then Al Horford would say, "Why would I play with your shitty? I assume I can swear, your shitty franchise." And then he would just go to the next name on the list, and he ends up with John Lure. Like that's bad. So
I haven't heard that name in a while.
Did you just evoke?
Oh man.
I'm hoping that if Troy Weaver doesn't land Ayton, then he doesn't just go to the next name on his list and end up with some overpriced, mid-tier players. And instead he pivots to saying, give me Gordon Hayward and a pick, give me Kemba Walker and a pick, give me something so I can keep kind of building up my arsenal. And if this isn't the year we make our big splash, then it's going to be next year, because I know people are afraid of having a losing team around Cade, but really you don't want a losing mentality. And I don't, even if the Pistons lost this year, with the way they're building up the team, I don't think that instills a losing mentality. I think Cade would see exactly what's going on here, which is lots and lots of options.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I know that they said the Pistons are rumored to be throwing all the bags at restricted free agents, potentially trying to lock down a couple of them, which I'm actually not against that strategy. But I don't know, man. I wanted to ask you guys, how did you feel about that, man? What do you think about that strategy, or do you believe there's a better way?
well, I mean, I think the only way to end up getting the prize is being in the hunt in the first place, right? So I think for Detroit, you have 2 players this summer who both would be great additions on this basketball team, who both
Bridges lighten up the comments.
have teams that are hesitant to throw the bag their way, which is understandable. But I mean, you have a situation now where Detroit, with that cap space, can very much pressure these teams and give offers and put something on the table that makes these teams who own the rights to these players, it's going to make them a little uncomfortable. Now, just because you throw in the offer, you could walk away with neither of them, right? You could totally make offers and end up without those players. But I think it's just the fact that in order to get talent in this league, you have to give yourself as many chances as possible, right? Whether it's at the top of the lottery, whether it's in free agency, the only way you're gonna end out on top is if you're in the conversation to begin with. So I just think for the Pistons, why wouldn't you throw offers on the table? Why wouldn't you try to get better this offseason? Why wouldn't you try to add these talented players alongside Cade? I mean, I think it's a no-brainer. I think you just have to.
I go back to when the Pistons won in 2004, when they won the championship. They had a slow trajectory of improvement between 2000 and 2003. They would lose in the first round. Then they get to the Eastern Conference Finals. And then they got Rasheed Wallace, the missing piece mid-season that put them over the top. I think the way Troy may see it as a restoration and slowly building this team the right way is that he wants this team to slowly grow together. And then when the time is right, when they're missing that one piece, they go and get that guy. I don't know if the time is right now, considering where we were, to make those moves now, because we haven't built a team that is used to winning on a regular basis. So I think maybe taking our time may be the right way to go, considering we have guys who are not quite used to winning yet. I think it'd be better to kind of slow grind it a little bit, wait one more year. And I think somebody said in the comments, it comes down to where they think Cade's going to be. Do you think Cade needs another 1 to 2 years before he's ready to really take this team to a championship contending run? I think so. So it really just comes down to where they think he is in his progression, I think, as well.
I think to a degree, man, it's a little bit of a situation where Troy said it best, and it doesn't help us any when we're trying to figure out what they're going to do and we're trying to parse these things. He said, we're not going to go fast just to try and go fast. We're not going to go slow just to go slow. We're going to do what we feel is right for this restoration, it's restore.
Mhm.
You know, and that's something that I like. That means that every single move is probably really thought over, really parsed in terms of how it fits into the grand scheme, into the whole overall map. All right, we're gonna let Sean break in here again.
I'm sorry, because I keep scrolling Twitter.
He has to pee, I think.
Yeah, this
Again?
time. Yeah, this is the time I have to pee. Exactly. No. I literally every time I scroll Twitter, I keep finding more and more updates and breaking
Let us
news.
know, brother.
Listen, man. So apparently, today on the Sacktown Sports Hotline, Jake Fisher of Bleacher Report, an NBA writer, per his sources, there are teams out there like Indiana and San Antonio who I've been told repeatedly from people I trust around the league that when those teams have called up to 4, that they are searching for Keegan Murray, not Jaden Ivey. So, per Jake Fisher of Bleacher Report, apparently teams that are calling up for that number 4 pick, they're calling about Keegan Murray, not Jaden Ivey. So if that's, we don't know if that's true, but if that is, that's very interesting.
I wonder who those teams are.
Keegan is the Spursiest player I've ever heard of, though.
He really is. He really is. He
Yeah, I
also
wonder-
looks like an Indiana Pacer too. Like he looks like Spurs and Pacers players. You know what I mean?
I think it helps that he's from there too. You know, he's from the
But-
area.
I wanted to highlight this one here on the screen. It's also similar to it's exactly what Sean was talking about earlier. I wanted to be able to bring that up earlier. I guess it's from the Boston Celtics. Shout out to them. But you know, as it relates to trading Gordon Hayward in his 13th pick, if that's for that 13th pick, basically, if that was something that Troy Weaver did, do they have enough firepower to potentially move up and grab one of those guys in the top 3? And do you believe somebody in that top 3 is worth moving up for? We don't know what Troy Weaver is up to. And yes, I am always going to present a scenario in which we could potentially get Jabari Smith.
I was waiting for it.
There you guys go. But I digress. I'm just saying, because think about it, we cleared the cap space. If he did absorb a high salary player for a first round pick, we're now sitting with 2 extra first round picks, one for next year, one this year, and then the player that can be drafted at 5 as well, that can be traded after he's picked. You know, what are you guys looking to do with that? Because it's 13. Are you looking to draft any player that's at 13? Or are you looking to try and potentially package and get something more? Or are you trading back further? What's it looking like?
Let's get Sean in here. What do you think, bro?
I think that it's not going to be that complicated. They're either going to trade because they want another pick, just like they did with Sadiq and Isaiah. Troy Weaver does not strike me as like the mastermind of the draft board who's, you know, playing 4-dimensional chess to make 6 moves so he can get the 3rd pick. Like, he wants a draft pick because he likes good young players. And I think, you know, jury's still out, but he has a very high confidence in his ability to scout. And he thinks that if you give him a draft pick, he's going to take a good player.
Yeah.
So
wherever it's going to be, by the way.
Yeah.
So I think that, you know, he wants DeAndre Ayton, and if he can't get DeAndre Ayton, he'll maybe trade for a pick, or he'll take DeAndre Ayton and then also have enough money left over to get another first-round pick. But he'll work all the angles.
Yeah. Hey, that's the most comforting part about it. It's Troy Weaver. He's a supreme talent evaluator. I'm hoping whatever he's seeing, you know, if he's gonna trade for one of those mid first round picks, I'm hoping he's seeing more Sadiq Beys and Isaiah Stewart's better than what we're seeing. Because I'm sure all of us, when those trades went down, most of us were saying, "Hey, we're just gonna trust him." But did we really believe that Isaiah Stewart and Sadiq Bey were going to be the players that we see them trending to be today?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's a thing about, hey, Carl, brother, what's good?
What's going on, guys?
What up, Carl?
Thanks for having me back on.
Definitely, man. One of the best members of Pistons Twitter, really just Detroit sports socials in general, man. He makes some of the best highlight videos I've seen amongst all of the fans in Detroit sports world. And hey, actually, and we're gonna release it. We did have a Jeremy Grant one. but I kind of had a feeling something was gonna happen, and we had to hold it off. It was actually pretty dope. Dope video, dope song. We're still gonna release it at some point in time. But yeah. Welcome to the panel, man. We're just kind of rapping. Carl, what are your quick thoughts on on this Jerami Grant trade, on what you think Troy Weaver is got going on, man? What's good?
So I think it was a little bit of a reality check for us fans. I think we value Jerami Grant a little more than what the rest of the league thought he was worth. But he is, we have a lot of cap space. I think that's the main positive to take out of this. Going into free agency, again, it gives us more flexibility to do whatever we want to do this offseason. So, I think, it's disappointing that we didn't get more back for him, but at the same time, I'm pretty optimistic about what we can do with the extra money. So,
yeah, absolutely, man. It's all about how you fill that salary cap space, right? It's all about how you use that money in return. And now, if this truly is the opening grounds to go get a guy like DeAndre Ayton, or to go make that next big splash and that next big step, then I think at the very least we have to be if that does happen, we have to be enthusiastic about what that means, because this very well could be the beginning of the next step of the rebuild. This could be the beginning of this new stage where we do try to start winning some basketball games, or we do try to start taking some of those chips we acquired at the poker table and start putting them in the middle of the table. You know what I mean? Like, right. At a certain point, this is the time where where the maturation process begins, and now we're really starting to have that money line up for when we finally do win. That we have that we can set it up in a spot that doesn't completely screw us over going forward.
Listen, I think I see what's going on here. I really do. People right now, Pistons fans of old, Pistons fans of new, they are really starting to have some serious anxiety issues, bro.
You know what it is? It's PTSD.
BG, and Charlie B all over again. They're like,
run. Yeah, there's nothing more dangerous in Detroit than available cap space for the last 15 years. So.
Yeah, and realistically, we haven't seen Troy Weaver. The first time we saw him really, really start to strike it was with Jerami Grant, but that was a sign and trade. This is going to be the first time that we've seen Troy Weaver as the head guy really, really command a full pot. And I have no flipping idea what he has up his sleeve, because this is not the free agency to have money in. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what he's planning to do, but I did want to ask, has anybody lost any faith in Troy Weaver? I've seen a lot of people crapping on him. I want to ask at least you guys. I haven't personally. I'm strapping in. I'm ready for the draft show tomorrow. Tune in Woodward Sports. I'm ready. I'm ready and waiting to see what Troy Weaver's going to do. But
I don't see how
he lost.
Considering his track record up to this point, which is only 2 years, looking at the moves he's made, and seeing how we're not even at draft day yet, I don't see how you can lose faith in the guy already. Especially when you don't even know what he's going to do thereafter. It's too early in the process.
Yeah.
Too early in the process.
Literally, the most important day of our offseason is tomorrow. And it's tomorrow, and then it's going to be when free agency begins. Those are truly the days that are going to matter. We're going to
don't skip summer league. Them summer league Pistons, bro.
Okay, but I'm saying what matters. I love the summer league. I love the summer league. It doesn't mean a damn thing.
What, bro? Them summer league Pistons matter, brother.
Oh, the summer league Pistons matter. Henry Allen. I remember the Henry Ellenson, Michael Jordan-like performances.
Rodney Stuckey, y'all tripping. We got some Raptors.
Stuckey though.
Wow. The Raptors out there, man.
Stuckey. Great point. I forgot his great days in the summer league.
Stanley Johnson was an all-star.
Yeah. I mean, hey, Henry Ellenson was Giannis in the summer league, bro. That guy in the Magic, whatever happened when that boy stepped up in a Magic practice gym, different.
Hey, remember he was supposed to be the next Dirk?
Oh, stop.
Oh, that hurt. that hurt. Ouch. Sheesh.
Man, Carl.
Now you just scaring Chet fans right now.
Hey, don't talk about Chet, okay?
I forgot that's a guy.
Don't go down that rabbit hole. We'll be talking.
We don't got to do that now. We don't gotta put salt in the wound, man. Come on now.
Man, so we're giving people a bunch of anxiety now about past draft picks and failed free agencies when we've had cap space, man. But when you just look at what Troy Weaver's done in a short amount of time, if the most you can crap on is signing Jerami Grant to a $20 million a year contract that he outplayed and drafting Killian Hayes, who's showing flashes that, you know what, maybe he's not going to be what we thought he could be, but he's going to be more than serviceable. You know, I'll take that, man. Tomorrow's going to tell us a lot. I think this year coming ahead is one of the it is obviously the biggest year for the Pistons, but I believe we're going to see them move a step ahead in this restoration towards a team that we see. You know, they could be, they should be, and hopefully they are winning some games. You know, obviously they're not going to be world beaters, depending on who they sign this summer. That will change the trajectory of how I will grade them out. I'm hoping that this is a team that we look at as an up-and-coming team, not a rebuilding, not a restoring team, not necessarily a team that is, you know, out there cracking team, you know, but somebody that you can look at and tell they got it. They got it. They're just maybe a piece or two away, but they got it. You know, I wanted to just, you know, go around the room as we kind of bring this to a close and just get you guys' last words, comments, Troy Weaver, the draft, free agency, the Pistons, anything, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say my first one is just remember where we were versus remember where we are.
Yep.
Remember where we were when Troy Weaver took over the franchise. Remember financially the hardships we were facing, the hopelessness we were feeling, the reality that we faced each and every day as fans, that there wasn't an immediate fix and that this team was a long way away from getting better. Right? Now, there is a light visible at the end of the tunnel. A Cade Cunningham-sized light.
Yep.
That can only be aided by whoever we bring around him. And if we do this right, we could be very good for a very long time. So I know this is a very consequential trade in the interim, but this is the type of deal that a couple of years from now, we could forget that this even happened. So I would just say, Pistons fans, obviously, let's do our research. Let's do our due diligence. Let's make sure we're having informed opinions, but also let's let Troy Weaver do his work this offseason, man. Let's form an opinion when we properly see the chessboard.
Yeah, I agree. We got to be able to see the forest for the trees, and that's something that only Troy can do right now because he has access to all the information, and we don't. It's kind of hard for us as fans sometimes to really understand moves because we don't know what chess pieces are being moved around behind the scenes. So I think it's just going to require a little bit of patience on our part and just a little bit of reliance on Troy. Look at what he's already done up until this point. And then if this move looks uncharacteristic to you, that's probably because there's more moves coming. So just be patient and just wait it out.
Yeah, you with Troy Weaver, you can't judge him on one move. Especially, I mean, we saw last or two off seasons ago, we signed Jerami Grant, and everybody was like, "What the hell? Like, where did that come from?" And he turned into our best player. So you can't really. I mean, obviously, there's more to come. There's probably going to be a few more moves, but you just can't judge him off of one move.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, without a doubt.
I'd say you can't judge him, but whereas if you asked me 2 months ago, is this going to be a defining offseason for the Pistons? I would have said probably not. He's going to try his best, but he doesn't have that many options because the free agent class is so weak. I think with this move, he has basically staked his entire GM tenure on this offseason to make a major move. And this is going to be what he's judged by for years. So is this going to be like when the Wolves added Jimmy Butler and then had to pivot? Is it going to be like when the Mavs added Kristaps and then had to pivot?
Mm-hmm.
Or is it going to be something that is actually going to work long term? Because I mean, the best part about going for restricted free agents, as unlikely as it is that you get them, they're young, and you usually don't regret those contracts. So if he has people he wants to sign, I'm not too worried about that. But I mean, you only get to make major moves so often, and it looks like he's ready to make a major move. So this is going to be the off season where you can define who Troy Weaver really is as a GM. So we're about to find out in like a day, and then 7 more days in free agency. So
yeah, man.
We'll see.
Listen, man, it's the NBA season ends and it feels like all this stuff's like forever away. It's here, man. The off season is here. And so like all the questioning, all this conversation and speculation that we're going to have a couple weeks time, we're going to be speculating about the team we have going into next season, not the team we could have. And we're close to that. So I'm just excited to have some answers, man. I want to know who the hell I'm repping this season. That's all I want to know.
Yeah, ready to fast forward to tomorrow.
It's whoever's wearing a Pistons jersey, because that's the only way that we rock, man.
Except John Lure, because John Lure. But anyway.
Oh my gosh.
We're not over here doing that. But I do want to say, everybody, thanks for rocking with us, man. Hey, continue to put some more comments in the replies and all of that. Hit us up.
Yes.
Join us tomorrow. We are rocking out Woodward Sports. We got the draft show going on. It's going to be an extravaganza, man. We got some people that's going to be dropping by. It's going to be a fun thing. Hey, shout out to Mr. Jeff Freddy. He's going to be there rocking out as well.
Shout out, Jeff.
Definitely, man. Definitely. He said he is tuned in. Shout out to the rest of our Table Talk crew. I know Lexi, she's not going to be able to be there. King, shout out to him. I believe he is doing a stream. And everybody else who were Pistons, man. Anthony, Jonah, and everybody else who makes it great. I know we got Mr. Stick in the booth tomorrow, so it should be a dope time, man.
Heck yeah, man.
It's going to be wild.
That's covered. We're going to be profiling all the players. We're going to be trying to get everything we can instantly. I did get a text from Rob Beard of the Detroit News who said, realistically, he is a little bit shocked about this trade, but he will have some more information. He's going to try and come on the draft show tomorrow and try and break some stuff down about this. So definitely don't want to miss it.
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And be sure that you're following all of us on Twitter as well. Be sure that you're in the conversation. Be sure that you're subscribed to Woodward Pistons for all the content that we have coming up, talking at all things NBA basketball. You want to see that, be sure to go over to From Half Court as well. You can get some of that there. But also be sure, check out, Detroit Bad Boys is doing some good stuff too. And Sean, we can't thank him enough, man, for hopping in.
Yes, sir. Shout out, Sean.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having me.
Always. Hey, bro, show up tomorrow, man.
I can't be there in person.
All right.
But I can jump on maybe for a little bit.
We got
there
you.
we go.
We got you. Definitely, brother. Definitely. Hey, Deuce, man, why don't you take us out, tell the people about In the Zone one more time, and we'll wrap up.
Sir. So, coming soon, starting next Tuesday, myself and Cooler, they're going to be doing our own pod called In the Zone. We're going to be talking about Pistons basketball, of course. For those who don't know already, we've known each other for about 20 years back to high school. So we're going to be giving a little bit of a different perspective from the historical standpoint of how we kind of got to where we are now. And we wish you guys come join us, man. Come check it out. Looking forward to having y'all with us.
Yeah, 2004 Pistons, boy. That's that culture.
Woo! It was a good year.
Absolutely, man.
Dang.
Yeah, man.
I feel you, Charles. I definitely feel you. I feel you. But we're on the way, man. We're on the way. This shirt, it means what it means. I had it on for a reason today. Obviously, we got to rock with Chauncey Billups, #1. I don't know how I feel about him right now because he had his team fleece us. He was supposed to get us hooked up in that trade with Portland, man. So, Chauncey, I don't know, man.
It made up for Joe Dumars giving us the gift back at the deadline.
Right.
Joe Dumars fleeced for us, and now Joe Dumars fleeced against us.
Yep.
Chuck Brewer, yes. I am, for those who don't know, I don't know, Kool-Aid, if you putting your age out there. I will be 36 years old this year. So we graduated in 2004. That's the best year of my life. 2004, one of the best. When I got married, of course, obviously. But sports-wise, 2004 was the best year of my life.
We lived, we slept, we breathed Pistons, bro.
I was 7 when you graduated from high school.
Oh, my God. Oh, Lord. Sheesh. 7? Woo.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're definitely going to be reliving a lot of those memories on the In the Zone podcast. We're going to be living back, going through all that stuff. Better 89. Ooh, okay. So he's going back to the original championship. Okay, I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that, Chuck. I'm not mad at that. Yeah, come check us out, man. Come check
So
us
you
out.
mean to tell me that the Chipmunk voice, when that really comes out, that's actually Sean's?
Yeah, that's actually my real. That's when all the filters come off, and that's when the audio system's actually making it sound like I have an adult voice right now. That's the secret. In reality, when it's not working, is when the Chuck voice comes out. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Oh my gosh.
No, we gotta cut this off, man. We just went over an hour.
Shout out to everybody.
Shout out to everybody, man. Thank you to everybody that came through. I did see Bravo. Listen, bro, we're gonna get to some of them questions that I saw on this next stream. But definitely Chuck, everybody, man. All the rest came through. I saw Mr. Rain here for a little bit. Everything King, Easy, everybody, man. But shout out to all who came through. I'm seeing everybody still putting who they want the Pistons to have. Yo, drop it in the comments. Who do you want the Pistons to select? What do you feel about Troy Weaver after that trade? Let us know. And remember, tune in tomorrow.
Be there.
Detroit, everybody, baby.